It's Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. This is a public health and safety meeting of the RTM, a special meeting. We're doing it by Zoom, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. The first order of business is to discuss and vote on portions of the July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026 budget as it relates to police, fire, other public safety, and human services. So I did kind of go through items that kind of pertain to those subjects. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'll start with the police. The police budget has an overall increase of 5.7%, and that's assuming full staffing, but they're currently actually down 3 officers. And Lois, you and I, when we were at the meeting with the police station, back when was that? February we went. Maybe it was March, but anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting because they like all the other departments, they budget for a full staff, but they don't always have a full staff. There are people that have retired, that have resigned, so they're often working with overtime. So it's a little bit of a juggling act between overtime for their current staff to make up for the staff that they're missing. But that's kind of all I had on the police budget.
I just do want to support what you just said, because the police chief was so happy to say, and on Wednesday, we are going to be fully staffed, but don't ask about Thursday.
Yeah.
Statement.
Mac, were there any big capital expenditures on the police department side?
Well, yes, and I'll talk about that separately. But
Okay.
the big one is they replace vehicles each year,
yeah,
and that's close to 300,000. But I'll bring that up when we talk about that. But then as far as the fire budget, the fire budget is up about 10%. It's an increased workload with multiple mixed use developments coming online. Plus they have to do plan reviews. It's an increased load for mandatory code compliant inspections. Note the fire department is approximately 1/4 to 1/5 of the budget of the police department. The town benefits greatly from having a mostly volunteer fire department.
yeah.
And just as an aside, there was an article I don't think it was in the Advocate, but just in the last couple of days, one of the Connecticut papers about the decreasing availability of volunteer firemen across the state. It's kind of staggering. I'm not sure where we fall into that, but they cite differences of 2-income households, employers less willing to let firemen leave their job to go to a fire. The other thing is there's a much more awareness of the cancer that one can get from fighting a fire. There's more and more protections that are needed, and if fire departments don't have those, it's a lot of firemen are just saying I'm not doing it anymore. So I thought that was interesting. As far as post 53, the expenditures are down 9%. Their contractual services are down. It's noteworthy that the high school staffing of post 53 is an all volunteer, and much of the operation is self-funded through donations. Town funding is $157,000, and the average response time with lights and sirens is about 6.3 minutes. They project to have 1,900 annual incidents. That's about 5 a day. It's really something. They're like I said, the response time is like 6.3 minutes. It's well below the national average. Human services and outside assistance of the senior center, senior transportation, youth services, and public health department. They're basically all those budgets are flat this year. Youth services budget has strong enrollment with increased revenue offsetting costs. Public health department's budget is $448,000, and it's offset by revenue of $152,750, and that's from their business and licenses and permits, which are just going to continue to increase with the more onboarding of businesses coming into town with the new developments. And that's really all I came up with the various departments that we follow. In a separate thing, we can talk about the various capital items. But any comments on that?
So those numbers you were citing were not including capital expense?
Right, right.
It's just operating costs, basically.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it all seemed pretty reasonable.
Yeah, the police budget is relatively flat, but they do have baked in increases for staffing, and the fire budget is like I said, it's kind of up, but a lot of that is equipment. So we'll talk about when we go over the capital items, and there and also is in there. Go ahead, Jim.
I was just going to say, thank you for doing that research. I don't want to embarrass myself, let alone anyone else, by asking who read the budget.
Well,
I didn't
yeah,
read the budget. I mean, I have to trust Jack and F&B to do diligence on this sort of stuff. And at this point of the game, we're basically just kind of nodding our heads, going, "Yeah, okay, great. Sounds
right,
good so far." There's nothing we can really change at this point, but I think we need to understand what wiser finance minds who have reviewed this have probably thought this is okay, because we know that there's a struggle each year by various departments to get more money because of increased costs, because of new developments, et cetera, et
right.
cetera. Health inspectors were a good example. That had to wait an entire, other year as well, too.
Hmm.
So I think we need to understand it, but again, it's like the mooring regulations. I'm not a finance guy. I don't know. I take
Right,
the department heads at their word if they think they need more personnel and they make a good argument. And you don't get anything past Jennifer Charneski, our former
right.
finance director, now town administrator. Nothing gets approved. Sure, we'll give you 10%. So I assume this has all gone through some diligence. But I
Well,
am
Jim,
curious about the capital side too, as well.
yeah, I agree with you about looking at the budget. It's really hard. I mean, I really lament when we used to get a budget book, and it had tabs. It was very easy to leaf through, and many people probably didn't use it, but it was available, and it was spiral bound, but it was really easy to go through. And I think there was a lot more participation within the RTM when we had that book. And about, I want to say 5 years ago, we stopped getting it. So now and the reasoning was, well, it's too expensive, but no one would ever give me a number of what they were talking about. Was it a couple $100? Was it a few $1,000s? What did it cost? But anyway, everything is on the town website, but you just have to fish for it. And then
It's
if you
nice. Sorry to interrupt. It's
go
nice
ahead,
when
no, no,
things
go
are printed because then you can refer to it, you can highlight, you can make
right,
notes, and then you can go back if you have questions. Whereas when it's on screen, I find that I don't have the bandwidth to remember that I had a question about something.
But why don't we just ask to see if we can get that reinstated?
Well, I asked
Oh,
last
it
year
saves money,
when
but
I asked
Well,
last year, and Kate said they could have the clerk's office print me a copy, but they were basically just going to go and hand me a stack of the paper. It wouldn't be bound. Yeah, just
but
they were just going to.
this is a volunteer position. And at the least, if that's what we want, we should get it. I mean, it's not asking much. I mean,
Oh,
we're
I agree.
volunteering hours to this. They can, if it costs $5 to put together, put it together.
Yeah.
At least for the chairs of the various committees, and the few individuals that might want one as well too. Mac, I think in our report to the RTM around the budget, I think we should throw a line in there, just something to the
Sure.
effect of,
Okay.
we wish we'd had budget books so we could actually, get into the numbers better.
and I'll bring it up at rules.
Yeah.
I just would like to know. What is the pushback? Is it because the same format is available? I put some of the stuff in my iPad, so I could. But even that's tedious. Leafing through it, and then trying to.
I'm sure someone could take it down to one of what's like the UPS store where they bound the stuff for you. So I
Yeah.
mean, we don't even have to have somebody from town hall do it. Just one book.
Well, no, they had somebody. They used the service before, and again, no one would really tell me what the cost was. You know, well, it's too expensive. What does that mean? Is it
Can I
is
ask,
it?
I'd like to ask a question of all the people here. How many people would want books?
Oh, I think we all would.
I like print.
Yeah.
So, okay, so three. So two no
No,
and the rest yes, but that's useful to know when I talk to the rules committee about it. I know I'm going to get pushback, but that's okay.
it was just easy. There were tabs. You could just, if you wanted to go to the police budget, you just immediately go to it. It was quite handy. But anyway,
Well, also, if you were following along at home and playing the home game version of Build the Budget, you could watch the Board of Selectmen go through that book page by page, tab by tab, as that entire proposed budget of the town administrator was submitted to the Board of Selectmen, and they'd go through it all. And then,
right.
when Board of Finance had to look at it as well, too. They got bound copies, spiral bound copies, and with the tabs and everything.
Right.
What are we, second-class citizens here? Come on.
Hey, Jim, did you raise your hand saying you wanted one? No.
No, I didn't want one. I don't want one. No, I'll
Well,
save
Jim, I think you're
20
ready
bucks
to
a
give
piece
us a
on
motion
this.
on this to vote.
In favor of the operating side of these budgets, or no? Catch me on a roll here, Mac. What do you want? I'll give you a proposal.
Well, just
It's just
let's
Fresca, folks.
vote on the portions of the July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026 budget as it relates to police, fire, other public health and safety, and human services. I'll make the motion.
I still like to hear it. Okay, I'll second it. But I'd like to hear something about the capital side. You said there were going to be a
So that's we have three things to discuss. This is
one
just
at a
the
time,
first, so we're going to go through that.
Great.
So
you
we
have
have
a
a
motion
second.
and a
All
second.
in favor of approving? Okay, great. Thanks, Brian.
Brian,
nod your head.
raise your hand if you approve, Brian.
He's got his hands up.
Or just nod.
Too.
I don't know if we can.
And he gave me eye contact. Okay.
Take it as a yes.
Shoot, we just lost
Okay.
Mac.
Okay. Well, let's. Okay. So now the second thing is discuss and vote
I think
on the.
there's a point of order. Lois?
No, we're okay. He's coming back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, Tom, I was on it.
Oh, I see. There he is. Okay.
But Brian, can you not? We need you here, Brian, for the quorum.
Okay.
Can you say yeah, nod, or
He's waving. I see him
Okay.
waving.
Okay, thumbs
he
up.
said that when he's driving, he won't let him
Okay, we got it.
connect.
Okay, he's good. He's good. Okay. So the second item is discuss and vote on the full year 2026 to the full year 2031 capital improvement plans. So this is like the 5-year window that we're required to vote on. And I went through some of the things here. That's the piece.
Wait, isn't it 6 years?
What's that?
Isn't it 6-year capital plan? 6
6 years. I say 5-6 years. So these are the things that you add up over the 6 years. Like, for example, police, there's 1.7 million is for vehicle replacement. So that's that number divided by 6 for each year. 265,000 for portable radios, 210,000 for air conditioning equipment replacement at the firehouse, at the police station, and 100,000 for the police boat engine replacement. So there's a lot of smaller items too, but those are the big ones that were there. As far as the Darien Fire Department, they have 150,000 pegged for a boiler replacement. They have a firehouse roof replacement for 152,000, and there's a firehouse HVAC replacement of 150,000. On the Roton Fire Department, 120,000 for the marine unit motor replacement and 100,000 for extrication equipment replacement. And the Roton Heights Fire Department, 125,000 for paving, 3 million for renovations of the volunteer live-in fire facility, and 2 million for the retaining wall, which that's already in there, but it's spread out. Now, in the fire commission covers the actual equipment, the trucks that we've approved before and will be approving. There was a 1.5 million replace tanker 45, 1.575 million to replace engine 41, 1.9 million to replace engine 42, and 1 million to replace rescue number 25. So those are things. So sometimes when it comes up, people seem to be kind of caught off guard that there's, well, when did this come up? But they have in place requests for these fire trucks for the next 6 years.
So question. So we're approving this based on the concept for the capital for 6 years.
Right. It's like a placeholder.
Right. And they still have to come to the full RTM to get funding for.
Oh, absolutely.
So, okay.
I think what the state wants is they want every town to have something like this in place, so they have, they kind of have a game plan. So it doesn't come as a surprise. Yeah, Jim.
So how do they possibly estimate the cost of a fire engine 5 years from now when we don't know what the inflation is going to be, in 6 months?
Yeah, they can't. This is just it's a guess, and that's kind of what capital is. It's a guess. Okay. Then when they really come for it, then they sharpen their pencil and come up with they have a real proposal.
Okay. What happens? Went into finance.
What happens to the old vehicles as they age them out of the force? Do they sell them, and where does that revenue go?
Yeah, they've talked about this kind of before. There really isn't a huge market for the used fire equipment. They have donated it to other departments like up maybe in Vermont that will gladly take used equipment.
We donated a fire truck to a town in Maine that had no fire equipment at all.
Mm-hmm. So that they do that. They often, if there are a few parts that might be valuable on it, they try to reuse them. They also will try to sell parts off of it. Sometimes it's just worth is like as scrap metal.
They do sell the police cars though, don't they? They trade them in.
I believe so. Yeah, I think they there's like a trade in.
Yeah. The reason we turn over police cars so much is because the mileage is low, but the motors are running almost 24/7. Mm-hmm. So that's why they turn them over.
Whereas I think the fire trucks are often 25, 30 years old, aren't they? They maintain them forever.
Yeah.
I mean, they do a great job of the maintenance. What the problems that come up is when they need parts, the parts aren't often available. I know one of the recent fire trucks we approved the purchase of. I think the gas tank, they almost have to patch it with with duct tape. I'm exaggerating, but they can't go out and just get another gas tank. They just don't make them. So okay, I see Bill just logged in.
Yeah, hi guys. Sorry, I was coming back from Colorado today and got a little delayed.
Okay, well you made it. Thank you.
You want a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Well, no, because there's more to go through.
Oh, there's more. I'm sorry.
The fire marshal has 417,000 pegged for vehicle replacement because there are a few vehicles that the fire marshal and the assistant fire marshal use. And a big one for emergency management is radio replacement, the end of life, and that's 1.4 million. So I think that's pegged out a few years. And Jim, to your point, that's just the best guess of what it might be.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Post 53 has pegged 100,000 for a paramedic response vehicle, and Public Health and Safety has 38,000 for a new vehicle. And I imagine that vehicle is used for to go out for the inspections that they do. So that's all I have on those. That like Lois was saying, that's the 6-year plan. So Jim, you want to do a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 6-year capital improvement plan as discussed.
Second.
Great, thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Hey, Bill.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, and then for the actual the capital items for this budget that we're going to be voting on for this coming fiscal year, there's some things that they're almost identical to the 6-year plan, but they're smaller numbers but they're also for this coming year. The public health is asking for the 38,000 for the new vehicle. Let's see, the police is replacing vehicles of 274,699. And I'm not sure how many vehicles that is. I'm guessing it's probably 3, but I can't believe it's just 2. But they usually get SUVs now. They don't get cars anymore. Let's see. The Darien Fire Department is replacing their boiler and their roof replacement. That's 302,000. The Roton Fire Department is 50,000 for they're basically creating a crew and a paint trunk. What is it? Trunk room. Not sure what that is, but truck room. That's it. They're cleaning and painting their truck room. There's a room where they keep vehicles, and they're just going to clean it and paint it. That's 50,000 for that. The Roton Heights, again, the 2 million for the retaining wall, that'll be done in the next year. The Fire Commission is asking to replace engine 41. That's 1.5 million, and they're also doing 300,000 for a drill training classroom. That's up at the area it's by the what I call the dump behind it, where they do their training.
Recycling plant. The recycling.
Yes, recycling. Yeah, that's the proper way to say it. Thank you. Fire marshal, 125,000 for a vehicle replacement, and the public health has 36,000 pegged to basically use OpenGov. They're adding OpenGov to their system to bring it online with the rest of town government. Implement that, and those are things that I saw there. But like I say, those are for capital items that are for this budget that we'll be voting on Monday night. Any comments, questions?
I mean, it seems pretty reasonable. Although I guess $50,000 for painting and cleaning seems a bit high, but without knowing the scope of the work
Yeah.
Well, my guess is they're probably going to be painting the cement floor. There's probably special paint for that so it doesn't peel up. Like I'm just guessing. Hi, Liz.
I guess it depends how big the room is, Tom.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a closet or is it, size of a squash
Well,
court?
we've toured the firehouses. I mean, they're pretty, where
They're
they
big.
keep their
They're big.
vehicles, a pretty good structure.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably have things that they have to avoid painting. So they have to, probably a lot of prep work too.
Well, it's a volunteer fire department, so if they need it, they should get it.
Absolutely.
So a motion to approve this?
I give a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, great. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Wait, does Liz want to vote? Or is she there?
Baconator, wake up here.
Liz?
She's on mute. You're on mute, Liz.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I missed the conversation, so I don't feel like I should vote.
Okay.
Unless you don't have I'll abstain. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry to be late getting on.
It's okay.
That's okay.
Bill, I assume you're good on this?
Yes.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so those are the 3 things we were voting on. the only announcement I have is that on now it's June 11th, I believe, that Wednesday, there's going to be a town public meeting regarding the mooring amendments that we'll be voting on in the fall. But that's a public hearing. Comments can be made, and there'll be a presentation by various town officials about it.
When is that? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. When is it?
It's Wednesday, June 11th. We have an
11th?
RTM meeting on Monday, and then it's 2 days later.
Okay, good.
I think it's at 7:30. So, but I'm not sure who's actually chairing it, but TGS&A is lead on this. We're secondary with Parks and Rec.
The
I've been
Advisory
told
Commission on Coastal Waters is involved too.
Yeah,
I think they rewrote all this stuff. Watch TV 79; it's all there.
It's good stuff. Good stuff, Jim.
Well, I think they gave a presentation at the boat club at the Piedmont. Was that recorded, Jim? Do you know?
No, that was on Monday night, and I got notified about that about 2 hours before it was supposed to start.
Okay.
And I said, sorry, we got 3 shoots tonight as it is.
Well, okay.
But I said there'll be the RTM public hearing.
Right.
They also presented with the Board of Selectmen on one of their Zoom meetings as well too. Go to the website. Yeah, I think there's been what I've seen. I think there was even something in the Parks and Rec Committee meeting the other night. There's a lot of people in the public who are boaters are very concerned about these new regulations. I don't know the specifics. I don't know what it is they're objecting to. I don't know nothing about boating. So here again, I guess we have to turn to wiser minds, people with an aquatic background, to tell us what it makes sense and what's fair. But you got to know whenever you change the rules on something like this, somebody's going to be unhappy. So,
well, a lot of it is some of it's archaic. I mean, Frank Kemp was kind of laughing. He said that you're required to post the warning for this public hearing in 2 local newspapers, and I don't think we have 2 local newspapers.
No, not anymore. We don't.
So, well, that's all I have. Anyone else have an announcement, Jim?
Yes, I got an announcement. Very stealth committee. They're not even associated with committees. There's 2 meetings coming up. One of them on Thursday of this week. WestCog, the Western Council of Governments, of which Darien is part, hired a consultant to assess ADA access issues at, I think, town buildings, etc. So this consultant is coming in to make 2 public hearings on Thursday at 12:30 in the auditorium and at 6:30 in the evening at the Mather Community Center, the cafeteria annex or something. I'm going to the second of the 2. We will be taping the first of them for TV 79. And then also coming up on the 15th, FEMA is coming in to work with Mark McEwen, our emergency services director, to make a presentation on hurricane preparedness at the auditorium, 5:30 p.m. Mark it in your calendars. Both of those things are, safety issues as well too.
Yeah,
sure. Yes. No, great. Thank you.
And you are covering them in Channel 79. So.
Absolutely.
And you'll let us
live and in living color.
Yeah,
one of them at least for the ADA thing.
Yeah.
But
Great.
Yeah, Stephen.
Yeah, can I just bring up this is a bit random, it's not an announcement, but I'm not sure whether it falls under our purview, but it's definitely a question of public safety. The crosswalks on the main roads in town. I mean, I assume that's a state issue. When there's so much road work going on, half of these crosswalks are no longer even visible. And my wife and I have been noticing how many people just don't even consider stopping. There's a major issue on there's a crosswalk at West Avenue and Holmes near where we live. Then also, the construction that's going on at Roton Heights, the new, all the new development there. again, you know, the crosswalk's not visible. People are just swinging by, turning the corner. So are we responsible in any way to kind of push things to get them, you know, get those white lines back on the road?
Jim, did the police still paint them, or was that turned to Public Works?
It's Public Works.
I think Public Works has a person who's embedded with the police department now.
Yeah,
They do so
it
much
used to be
work.
The police.
But
were
yeah, I would,
responsible
you know,
for it.
I think the police commission would be a good place to bring that up. And their meeting, hold on, I just happen to have the dates in front of me. I think it's next Thursday, sometime coming up in the next week or two. No, it's actually tomorrow night. I'm sorry. It's this Thursday at 4:00. You could send him an email, send an email to the chief. I'll send you his email address if you want, and
That'd be
just,
great.
you know, express your concern. I think they'll probably say, you know, until the construction is finished, we're not going to be painting anything because it's just going to get dirty again.
Well, there's a
I
couple of
believe that-
crosswalks that are not on the construction that could
Right.
use some freshening.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if it's on the post road,
one
it may
you
be,
were-
you know, state road.
The one you're referring to at West Avenue in Holmes, I thought that's where they had fresh asphalt. And they painted that. They put it down last fall. Is that the one you're speaking of?
Yeah, it's either people are not stopping on it, they're not seeing it. I don't know. Yeah,
That's a state road, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do our police manage this, even if it's a state road? Our police still monitor that, right?
Yeah, I thought the town still does the striping, you know, but I could be wrong.
Enforcement is part of what I was curious about.
Drop a note to our first selectman, and it would be better than sending a Q alert. I'm sure he would kick that over to whoever the right person is right quick.
Right.
Can I also raise another public safety issue? I got approached today by somebody who lives on Dickinson. The little building that's been across from St. Luke's and the Christian Science Reading Room that's been empty for so long, it has a sign outside that says Moots.
Yes.
That is being proposed before planning and zoning to be turned into Wondershare, which is a stopping off point for prepared foods prepared outside of town, brought to this location. You can go in, and it's almost like a food court, and say, I'll have the ramen tonight, or give me the beef stew, and pick those up and go home. Or you can use an app on your phone to place an order for such a thing, and Uber Eats or DoorDash and such will go there, pick it up, and bring it to your very home. Sounds great, unless you live on Dickinson, because they're freaking out about the amount of Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub traffic that they're going to get from people coming to make those kind of deliveries.
There's no big parking lot at that building, I don't think either.
Very small lot, maybe holds 10, 15 cars, I guess. It's across from the fire department.
Above.
And they're worried about, because on the road entrance, the parking lot entrance on the post road is only an exit. You have to go up to Dickinson, and if you miss it, you're going to be going back up and down the post road, trying to find, you know, your way in. Anyhow, P&Z had a long, involved hearing. I think that hearing is closed. These folks are now trying to find other venues of attention, and they suggested the TV 79 might do a stunning expose on this, and I said, no, we just cover the meetings, thank you.
Yeah.
Take it to the public meetings.
I was witness of one of those places not that place, but where they did a traffic study, and we said, if it's successful, it's going to create holy hell on the street. And the traffic consultant said, it's not going to make a difference on the post road. And that was a long time ago. And
I think that was where Duchess was going to be replaced by a certain gasoline station.
no,
wasn't it?
actually it was even before that. It was
okay.
it was the place that used to be the fence thing that became the 3 or 4 different small takeout places, the little yellow building, the one between the Exxon and the used to be Darien Diner. That's the Italian restaurant, that little plot, that corner plot.
Oh,
Jim, I heard that as well. That's crazy. It's like if you live in Norwalk, what do you think? There's not going to be any more traffic with Wegmans and Target going in?
Yeah.
Well, that's from this side, but over there on Dickinson, you know, I mean, it's the same thing. They actually look at the traffic on the post road and comment, not on what affects on the small.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
why I lost
Yeah.
all faith in traffic studies.
So
Can I bring up one more issue? Because this came up years ago with those of you that were not public health and safety. So there wasn't enough money in the police budget, but that timer at the train station where you come up out of the train station onto Hollow Tree,
Mhm.
that was a funding issue. When I hear all this money going out for fire department, police department, that is so long overdue because it's poorly designed. And
Well, I
it
think
just,
I think
Go ahead.
Brian, that's all in the works. I'm sure with the new development there, they're probably going to redo that if they haven't. I'm sure that's, I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I've not seen that, but that's long overdue.
that parking lot gets used as a through running
Yeah,
race course
yeah,
during the day. Instead of going
Mhm.
up along Ledge Road, past Valvolas and stuff, they come flying through that parking lot.
that's right.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's that. When that complex comes online, in the next year, it's really going to increase traffic.
These are the growing pains of a developing community.
Mhm.
Plan of conservation and development. Take note.
All right.
Do you
Well,
need
listen,
a
thanks,
motion to adjourn, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman? I
sure.
move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, second. Okay, great. All in favor?
See you
Aye.
Monday.
Oh,
Okay,
thank
we'll see
you.
everybody Monday.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
Monday.
Thanks,
Have a good
guys.
night.